Zuzi on the track.
I'm just popping in before the video starts to let you guys know that this is a very touchy topic. I don't know if I would say call it triggers or anything. It's nothing really crazy, but I do want you to come in with a very open mind. No judgment zone, and etc. etc. I also want to say that I will be popping in this form because as I was watching myself in editing, I realized there's a lot of things that I left out that I feel like are kind of really important. So, yeah, so watch and enjoy, open mind, and I'll be popping back up to let you guys know for some more information that I didn't say in the video. So,
hey guys, it's G, and we're back with another video. If you are a part of the G gang, thanks for coming back for watching another video, and if you aren't, hit that subscribe button to join the G gang. So, as you can tell by the title of this story time, we are going to be talking about one of the times I was admitted to a psychiatric ward. I think that's what it's called. I don't even know what it's called, to be honest. Still to this day, I don't really know. People call it mental hospital, psychiatric ward, whatever. I don't know whatever we call it. Let's get straight into the story. I don't even know where to really to begin. The reason why I was in the psychiatric ward is for a whole different story time, but I want to talk and focus on what really is the setup of it, how it works. First time I was admitted to a mental hospital, I stayed there for 7 days, which is a long time, guys, especially during the Christmas season. It was during the Christmas season. I voluntarily got admitted, but they told me that if I did not, they did have to involuntarily admit me. That would be on my record. And obviously, jobs can see that, people can see that, so I just said, okay, I'm gonna admit myself. You're probably wondering, like, why didn't I just leave? Couldn't just leave. There was too much evidence that I was a harm to myself, and that if I had left, I probably would have done something to myself. So I had no choice but to stay. When you get there, you have to wait for them to have a bed. So I was in the ER for a while, not because I was hurt, not because of anything, but because I was waiting for a bed. And the ER has a special section for the mental health. So I was in that section. They take away your phone. They take you out of the clothes that you have, because maybe sometimes your clothes has stuff on them, like strings or stuff that you could use to harm yourself. And they make you take out all your piercings. Now I had to take out my nipple piercings. They never went back in after I left.
another thing that I had to take out was my belly ring. Also, you were not allowed to have any jewelry. I had 3 necklaces on that were tangled, all like 3 separate necklaces. And the nurse lady thing had to help me take out all 3 of my necklaces, and I had to get rid of my earrings as well. So nothing at all that you could use to choke or anything to yourself, basically to harm yourself.
My dermals that I did have, they let me leave those in. I was in a hospital gown, and they put you in the room, the mental health room in the ER, has nothing that you could ever hurt yourself in. So the bed is uncomfortable. You don't have a mirror, you don't have certain things that you would think that you would have, because they just don't want you to harm yourself on anything. The room wasn't even painted nice colors. Like, the room made me more depressed than I already was. Now, in this moment in time, I wasn't getting any mental health, so I was just deteriorating for years. Like, I had a mental health problem that I wasn't getting help for, and it was just really bad, and it led me to go into this situation. So I stayed there for maybe 10 hours. My parents stayed with me until they had to leave, until the visiting hours were until the visiting hours were over. So they stayed for quite a few hours. My dad was, nobody would want to see like their family member in that situation. In the morning, they woke me up around 5-6 o'clock in the morning because they finally had a bed to admit me into the mental health hospital right upstairs. Now the thing is, if the hospital that I was at, the ER, didn't have a mental hospital upstairs. I had a bed for me. I would have had to gone to a different mental health hospital, meaning an ambulance ride. They mandatorily take you on the ambulance to the next nearest hospital, mental health hospital that has a bed. They took me upstairs. They basically admitted me. Now, I went there early in the morning and they gave me like cereal. They basically broke down to me what it was. They told me, this is the window that you get your pills from. This is going to be your room. And at the time, I didn't have a roommate. It was 2 beds in a room, and I had the room to myself, thankfully, because I was never ever in the situation before. I don't know. I know what my problems are, but I don't know what somebody else's problems are. So what if you try to kill me in my sleep? Like, I don't know.
Now, as much as I didn't want a roommate, I think I spent one day by myself in the room, and then the next day I had gotten a roommate because obviously there was a spare bed. Fortunately, the lady was really nice. She was suffering from postpartum depression, so she was still breastfeeding. She had just gave birth and stuff, so yeah, she wasn't crazy, so I didn't die. Obviously, I'm still here today, but that was really one of my concerns. I was highly scared because, of course, of all the stigma around mental hospitals.
So I was very thankful. They would have group certain times of the day. Now, when group was going on, the phones would be off. There's phones you could use to call family because, like I said, they don't let you bring your phones. There's phones that you can use to call family, friends. The phones would go off during group. They would unplug the phones. And at a certain time at night, they would also turn off the phones as well. So there was a curfew to go to sleep, and you can wake up whenever. My first day there was very interesting. They checked me in. They brought my stuff from downstairs that I could have. Like, I don't even think it was like, I don't know, I don't even know what the heck they brought for me that I could have, because they took away my clothes, my shoes, gave me these fuzzy socks. The socks, oh my god, the socks. I still have those socks. I had my bracelet that I needed to keep on at all times so that they know my information. And I was wearing that gown for a while. Gave me soap, hygienical stuff, toothbrush, toothpaste, everything you needed. And they would have visiting hours, and they were very strict. Like it was like from 3 to 5 or from 3 to 4, like every day. It was only for an hour or two. It wasn't very long. My first day I was there, I made it in time for lunch, and so they gave you this small piece of paper and you write what you want on there, and they bring it up for you when it's time for lunch. And the same thing for dinner, same thing for breakfast. I met a lot of people there in my same circumstances, and it made me feel as though like I was able to not be alone in the situation that I was in, and that there are people going through things that I was going through as well. It's not just the typical, oh, they're crazy, oh, he's seeing things. Like, no, it's not even that. It's like people who are dealing with everyday struggles that voluntarily admit themselves because they just need to get their mind state right. And I don't know, it's not as taboo as the society makes it seem with mental hospitals. Something that I did not like is that I did not feel like I was getting enough help, in the sense of there was no one-on-one with doctors to try to figure out what you have. I only figured out what I had when I left the hospital and was able to see a therapist and a psychiatrist, and they were able to diagnose me. But in that time, in those 7 days, they were only able to help me with coping skills. And I mean, they helped, but like in 4 weeks, I was admitted again to another mental hospital. So it only helped so much. And that hospital's a whole different story. Like, every mental health hospital has a different structure. At the end of every night, we are supposed to meet. We're supposed to say some things that we had learned. And that was a very important aspect, because then you get to hear from everybody what they had learned in that day. And I think that was one of my favorite parts. Did I make friends? I did make 2 friends. We don't speak, not because of anything that had happened. It's just we just never really kept in contact after we had left, but they were a really great support system for me, and I hope I was the same for them. So yeah, every morning you would have to basically wake up, get your meds.
Also, they woke you up every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, so they could take your vitals, your blood pressure, your finger for your heartbeat, and your temperature around your forehead. Every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, before you ever woke up, they come in your room and do it right next to your bed. It was the most annoying part of being there, I have to say.
Eat, and like there was nowhere for you to go. That was another thing that I felt like was driving me nuts, was like there was nowhere for you to go. It's your room, the recreational, group, food. That's it. And get your meds. Like there's nowhere for you to go. It's like this hallway that's always locked. There's this hallway and you can walk back and forth, and I know I spent a lot of time walking back and forth on that hallway, back and forth, back and forth. They had me on 3 drugs, one for anxiety, one for depression, and vitamin B for the brain or something like that. It was like they always give something for the brain. When people would get discharged, it's always really nice to hear that this is somebody's last day, literally somebody's last day, and there would always be like a congratulations and we hope we never see you again type of thing going on. But that was also something really interesting. And I also remember when I first got admitted, there was always like, when I first got admitted, like I said, I voluntarily admitted myself, but they always have like this 72-hour hold on you to see if, like, basically, like, if you really need to be here. If I had chosen before the 72-hour hold to leave and they wanted me to stay, that would have been my record forever. Yeah, so that's why I just decided to comply, not even ask questions, and just stay as long as they thought that I needed to stay. And on the 7th day, they told me I was good to go home, and I left home. Now, the second time I got admitted, that's a whole nother story, and it's not really my fault. Like I said, they didn't really diagnose me with anything. They gave me 1 supply of pills for a month, and that was it. Being stubborn, I wasn't really taking my pills as I should have for that month. My social worker that I hadn't set me up with the proper psychiatrist. I'm psychiatrist and therapist, to be honest, so that was delayed for a month as well. I should have been straight into therapy, straight into my straight to see my psychiatrist, and that didn't even happen. Lo and behold, a month goes by, and I'm right back where I was at a whole different one, because now I'm back at school. So yeah, if you ever want to hear about that one was a piece of work. That one was less put together, people didn't really know I don't know, that one was a whole nother thing. But yeah, I just thought that'd be a cool story time to tell you guys that we are all people, we all struggle through things, we all get through it. And there's always something at the end of the tunnel. That's definitely something that I feel is super important. There's always something at the end of the tunnel for us at the end of the day. Never result to suicide, guys. It's not. There's nothing left there at all for anybody. Like, your family, all you're gonna just do is cause hurt. You're gonna hurt your family, your friends, and the people that care about you the most. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. It wasn't anything really juicy that happened. It was just a very profound moment in my life. If I didn't mention before, like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.